Ooh, happy Halloween. Welcome to the pilot episode of Matt and Yael Horror Recap. We decided earlier today, in early to mid September, that we would watch a horror movie a month in October. Little
Huh?
background,
The horror movie a day.
a horror movie a
We
day.
decided that I'm here to correct.
Yeah, we're gonna watch one horror movie a month for October of this year, and we're gonna air it every day on this YouTube channel.
Not a month, a day. What's wrong with you?
That I'm joking. I'm saying I'm playing off
Oh,
of my
okay.
mistake.
Oh, okay.
We're recording this at 12:30. This is Yael Gavish. This is Matt Kona.
What are you doing?
We have done stand-up comedy before. Mostly we stay in our apartment
Home.
in Austin and work nights. So we're doing this instead. We're justifying being hermits and watching movies. So we hope you will.
Watch those movies too.
Yeah. So here's how you could do it. You could watch the movie first, or you can watch us talk about the movie,
Get
or
all the ideas of the movie and then watch it. I would recommend you first watch it.
or you can watch the movie while watching this, which I think would be way more confusing and
I think we should say
enjoyable.
like what movie we're gonna watch next, then people can.
Okay. All right. So
We're gonna decide at the end of that episode what we're gonna watch.
this is why it's a pilot episode.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on here now.
We're figuring things out now. We're recording live onto a webcam that looks like we're paying tribute to the Blair Witch Project, and we're doing a pilot which we're going to broadcast in September because the first movie that I chose, and we're doing it basically, we want to make it accessible for the modern person. So we're not digging deep into the old VHS bins, finding a VCR and hooking it up and watching some old goodies. And I know some really good people. I have some big time, old time horror collectors. Check out the account at Horror Boobs to see some old VHS tapes from my buddy in New York. We're just doing stuff
The
that
boobs are not gonna happen here.
not on this, but in many of movies, not in this first movie. So
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
true.
choosing movies that are available on the most common streaming devices, Amazon, Hulu, or Netflix. And the first one we found
You picked
was
it.
I found it. It was on Amazon via Showtime, and it was called Gone from 2012, 2013, starring Amanda Seyfried. So what I wrote, we shoved notebooks. So we took notes. Mine is blue, hers is
Because
pink,
he's a boy
and
and a girl.
and boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
And vagina is pink.
As other
Penis
yeah,
and balls might be blue.
sometimes. So this, I think we both realized about halfway through this that the movie wasn't quite
Oh, there are
gone.
gonna be a lot of spoilers.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
All spoilers that
So
you can imagine.
if you haven't seen Gone, then go and watch it.
Pause, watch it, and then come back.
Yeah, so if you have Showtime on demand, it might be on there, or if you have a Showtime subscription on Amazon, I got one, so we could watch What Is America. So yeah, that's over now. So now I'm just gonna watch a few more movies until I cancel it. Although the new Jim Carrey show looks interesting. So I basically just took notes of what was happening in the
Just
movie.
wrote the movie.
Yeah.
Without minutes or something.
No, there's a couple thoughts. So you wrote different things. You wrote.
Yeah, I know. I wrote
like
my thoughts about my movie, about the movie, and not it's my movie.
It's
my movie now.
Oh yeah, we forgot to give the credits.
Yeah,
It was starring
thank you very
Amanda
much.
Seyfried,
Made by Yael.
directed by Gavish.
Yeah, so basically, if you want the script, it's the same thing that he wrote.
All right, but we're breaking it down the movie, so you feel free to interrupt
Okay, so
me.
you're gonna say the movie, and I'm gonna say what I thought about it.
Yeah. If you ever have seen a sporting event and you have a color commentator and a play-by-play guy, I'll be the play-by-play guy, but offer
And I'm gonna tell
occasional.
what happened in the movie.
No,
To my
no, no,
opinion.
no, that's
No,
not
yeah,
what.
yeah.
You just completely confused what. Good. This is
Okay,
a
start.
pilot, so she'll correct me on things that she's incorrect on.
I correct you
And
anyway on anything.
oh, then we're gonna have a great live English lesson for grammar for this, because oh yeah, let's see who corrects who. So
Correct
first
me,
of all,
baby.
some of you, I mean, I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks. Season 3 came out last summer. I still think about it a lot. Amanda Seyfried played Double R Diner waitress Shelley's daughter, and the movie takes place in Portland, Oregon, which is different than Washington State, although they do have very similar landscapes and greenery. And the movie
And
starts
woods.
off where it looks like she's going through a park, very reminiscent of
It's not Shelley, it's Shelley's daughter.
Shelley's daughter in the movie. Her character's name is Jill. We'll just kind of refer to her as her character name. So Jill is going through the forest, and it looks
Well,
like
let's say like Shelley's daughter all the time. Jill.
Jill is going through the forest, and it looks a lot like Jack Rabbit's palace from Twin Peaks season 3, which we will not spoil. But it's just a part of the woods that has a name. It's kind of odd. And then it made me feel like we were gonna watch a horror movie. It was in the horror section of On Demand, and we see a sweeping car driving through the hills, all the trees around there, very reminiscent of the beginning of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. And then it goes to the girl's house. She's in the shower. Little psycho tribute there. And then she leaves the house later in a car, and a black cat crosses the street, which is not really
That's
a
my
horror
second
trope.
note. Black cat is passing.
Yeah, and it's
I didn't say anything.
and then I did a little post show research on IMDb. Apparently, the cat freezes in the frame because there was an error and they had to reshoot, so they just made the background a photograph, and the cat starts to cross the path and then just stays there. So anyway, get into the plot, which I have extensively jotted down on here.
You want me to comment sometime?
Yeah, but interrupt me if you have a thought.
So I thought that Portland, Oregon is a great location for horror movies because of the woods, and it's very like foggy. Like not I don't know. It's like woods and green, but still it's very gray and creepy.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I like that.
atmospheric.
Yeah. And the first thing they wrote was that my favorite horror movies are always as a blonde girl, one, and she's usually like the main, I don't know, dumb person that would do all the mistakes to make the movie scary.
The main dumb person.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like that it's like still that stereotype. Stereotype.
Yeah, stereotype.
Stereotype. I think it's like, come on, Sarah Michelle Gellar is not like in anymore. Like I noticed that since I was a kid and watched horror movies, that there's always a blonde girl.
But Sarah Michelle Gellar is a very not dumb blonde girl in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about horror movies. And I remember what you did the last summer. How do you call it?
I Know What You Did.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. She wasn't like.
I mean, some horror movies are just written dumb.
No, but they always cast a blonde girl to play that dumb girl, and I don't like that.
Okay, I'm not arguing against that. I didn't think that this character.
No, she's amazing. I love her.
Was dumb.
I love Amanda. How do you say her last name?
Seyfried.
Seyfried.
And
the girl from Mamma Mia.
Yeah. I never saw it. Well, maybe we'll talk about that.
We're gonna watch it in In November.
Family Video November, where we watch a family video every November. So she leaves. Basically, she's rooting around in the woods. She comes home. She's apparently she has been getting over the trauma of being kidnapped. There's multiple locks on her door. Her older sister lives with her. She's kind of worried about her. Tries to set her up on a double date. She doesn't really want to do it. She leaves the house. Her sister's going to be staying up all night studying, going to bed early. So at nighttime, Jill leaves to go train MMA. Guy gets a little creepy, says something a little bit sexist, touches her hair, and she resumes ground and pounding him when they were just grappling. So she fucked him up a little bit. And then she goes to work third shift at a diner. Yeah.
About the gym thing. I think to all the girls here that's watching or in the world, we unfortunately, most of men, we have nothing like to do against them. And if someone is trying to attack you, just kick in the balls and run. That's something that they learned from MMA fighters and like people that teaching like self-defense. So they felt bad for her that she's like spending all of that effort.
Well, I think
it worked for her in the movie, but
guess what? If you're unable, if the person that is attacking you, you can't kick him in the balls and he's on top of you, and you can't knee him in the balls. You have to learn how to grapple.
So I'm saying with girls, most of the time, the men.
You're just trying to cut into all the MMA self-defense classes and saying just kick him in the balls instead.
No, not an MMA thing. I'm talking about like a fight that a man is gonna try to attack a woman.
Yeah, I don't think she was training MMA to compete.
No, to protect herself. No. She didn't do that to like compete.
Okay, so girls kick a guy in the balls or do MMA against them. See, there's the message to this. So she does all that, then she goes to her third shift job at a diner, and a guy gives her a big tip, gives the other waitress a big tip, because she's normally her other waitress, and that waitress is the girl from Dexter's sister. So it's kind of like a Showtime reunion, since Twin Peaks season 3 was also on Showtime. So
there's another thing that I like in the beginning. The music that it cuts from, like when there's like sounds of one scene that is still like not revealing. So no, there's like the scene that's happening right now, and on top of it they put the sound of a different scene that you still don't see. But my brain works like extra hard to like trying to understand what's going on, and I love when they do that in horror movies.
Yeah,
makes me aware.
Audio editing. I mean, the editing I thought was good to the movie. I thought it was well made.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go on. She gets home. She's unpacking her stuff. She unlocks the 3-door locks. She takes out her gun because she carries one with her at all times. Still messed up from being kidnapped, bound with duct tape. She keeps seeing flashbacks. Finds her sister gone. Her sister's earring is on the floor. She's searching through the house for her.
No, she took the gun because she was worried I don't think she carries the gun all the time.
She took it out of her bag that she carries with her to work.
Oh, okay.
She got kidnapped. You think she's just going to leave her gun at home?
I have no idea. I don't know.
She took it out of her bag.
She found out that her sister is gone, and then she went to the laundry first thing. Like, you want to call her and see if she's in one of the rooms?
Yes. Later, we find out that she was looking to see if the clothes that her sister was wearing the day before were in the laundry, or if she was still in them.
I still found
not to see if her sister was hiding in the hamper, playing a big joke, and then the credits roll and the movie's over.
In the drawer.
Oh no, you should. It's the peekaboo of the movie.
But she didn't call her before that. No, like checked all the rooms. But the action starts fast. I like that. You know, it's like you didn't take.
Yeah, she's immediately convinced that. Okay, I guess I left one thing out of my list. She took her sister's car with her to work because her sister's car was blocking hers in. So she hypothesizes that the person that kidnapped her came back, found her, went to her house, saw her car was there, was going to kidnap her, finish the job. She obviously got away. and finds her sister instead. So she does that. So she immediately goes to the police department, meets a very reluctant Sergeant Powers, and tells him that thinks the man is back. A lot of girls are gone, missing from the park. She has a whole folder full of stories about girls who've gone missing, have not been found. She then meets Detective Hood, a very creepy, handsome new detective.
That's the guy from American Beauty. The creepy kid, the neighbor. What was his name? He's really creepy. And I just watched him yesterday in Mission Impossible, and I would never recognize him, not there and not in this movie. He just looks different in every movie that he plays. But
He looks about 15 years older than he looked in American Beauty.
No, he's not. He
Well, that movie took.
he
Okay,
still looks
stop.
young and creepy.
Okay, all right. Well, we didn't write his actor's name down because we didn't think it was that important. But it's a guy named Detective Hood. He's creepy. He's handsome. He says he'll pull her file and get her contact information, and then Jill's sister, Molly's boyfriend, calls Jill back, brings up the fact that Molly might have fallen off the wagon. She used to have a history of drinking. So Powers fills Detective Hood in on Jill's case after she leaves and about how her abduction story didn't pan out. They never found any evidence of a hole in the woods. They never found the guy. They think she might have been making it up because she didn't have defensive wounds or anything like that. Hood says he likes them a little crazy, gets reprimanded for the creepy thing that he says about this distressed girl he just met. And next scene, Molly's boyfriend comes over, comes by to help. They argue about the pajamas that she was wearing because there's different pajamas in the laundry. Jill goes next door, asks her female neighbor if she saw any activity. Her neighbor immediately gives her shit for not being neighborly and never having said hi to her before, and then recommends that she talk to the squirrely insomniac man next door named Conrad, who doesn't sleep that much since his wife dies. So she crosses the street, goes to talk to him. The ex, very standoffish, tries to shut the door in her face while looking real mean. And then finally forces him into conversation, uh, telling us a series of tall tales to try to get cooperation throughout this, saying that someone stole her bicycle. Did she see anything in the night? He says he saw an all hours locksmith van in the driveway that honked, which she did not appreciate. And then she immediately Google image searched, stalks the locksmith van, finds out what it looks like, drives her car until she finds one on the street, aggressively drives at it, almost causing several accidents until she follows the van into the locksmith's shop, where she could have probably gone in the first place, and meets the boss, who says his son works midnight shift and he didn't go out on any jobs last night. She says that she saw the van on the street. So he wakes him up because he also sleeps during the daytime in the locksmith shop until his midnight shift begins. He comes out also looking creepy, sounding defensive. She makes up stories about things.
You wanna call me when you're done?
Okay, yeah, I said interrupt me if you.
You finish reading, yeah. You don't give me a chance to like. You can finish and then I'll come back.
Tell me your locksmith thoughts.
I still have thoughts from the beginning.
Okay.
In the police station.
Okay.
So
You don't think that? Okay, I know. I mean, we had a post movie meeting.
Yeah, and then you just canceled everything I said.
What do you think it's a trope in horror movies, or in I guess any movie where a person is trying to do their own investigation, that the police don't.
Yeah, I felt it's like it's not. I didn't feel to me like a horror movie at all. It was like
Yeah, I feel like about halfway through.
there are three like thrilling parts maybe, and it was mostly like how do I call it? It felt like I think it's a good self-detective movie. That's what happened there. She's just like running after everyone, but the thing that I didn't like is the fact that the police is like ignore everything that she's saying to them, like trying to chase her instead of trying to help her since the beginning. And they try to help her, and they like telling her that if not, she's gonna go back to the hospital and like, take her pills and stuff. So I didn't like that because I don't feel like the police is that stupid. But another thing that I thought about during the movie is that something that I heard when I was a kid about that like pictures and of kids, missing kids on milk, and I was like, what? That's crazy. And I thought it's just like I don't know, just story or something. Then I came here, and apparently it's true. And then it's probably because of the police treat people when they're kind of like, hey, my kid is missing. Like, oh no, you have to take your medicine. We'll put you back in the mental hospital. So, but
Yeah.
I still don't believe that the police is that stupid and like ignorance.
Well, I mean, I feel like that, but that happens a lot in horror movies too. Like someone killed us. Like I saw him kill him. He's got a chainsaw, and then like, yeah, right, monster, woods, chainsaw, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then usually the police officer gets killed soon after that. If they're running for help and they find a police officer, it's never a guarantee that everything is going to be fine.
Yeah, but the fact that like the police was the the body that would take her time and make her feel stress, and I feel that it's not cool that the police was that. Maybe like I don't know, a family member or a friend are trying to stop her from doing that, and not the police because I don't know. It's still like a body that should protect the citizens. And if there's so many girls that missing, and she has a little bit of information, they would try to go and do that and get that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm not trying to. There is several plot holes and inconsistencies throughout this movie. I'm not trying to devil's advocate and defend them all, but they do say that she comes in there a lot because
Yeah.
of that, and that you know there was no evidence found when she was kidnapped. I think she's a little bit nutty, but they're hack movie cops, and as you'll get to, you got the creepy new guy, the very defiant Powers that doesn't believe her off the bat. You got like the old grizzled guy, the
Yeah, they were mostly
department
guys
chief.
to
You
like
don't really
suspect
see.
them. I like to
And then there's
suspect
one female
everyone.
cop.
Yeah, and only one female cop that she hates her. She's just like has the look of that like you're a girl, I hate you. Kind of thing.
Yeah,
She barely
she
talked.
doesn't
She
do
didn't.
much.
Yeah, she didn't do anything.
She
But
got
she
kind of a
she
weird
was
haircut.
like yeah.
She looks like she was in a Riot Girl band, but like got kicked out because she couldn't play bass even in a punk band. And
Yeah, but she was like with the what was he like the surgeon? The guy was in charge and everything.
yeah,
She was with him all the time. And it was like, is she a secretary or like she works with him? It wasn't that clear.
she definitely was not a secretary.
I
They were
guess
in a
so, but
meeting
like
together.
she did nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I was like, I wondered like
No,
how.
she helps try to set up one of the phone stings when they're trying to bring her in, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, but like, how annoying can you be, you and your sister, that no one cares about you? Like, okay, that girl, they said that she's crazy and she has like mental problems, but her sister is actually was gone. So just like to check, maybe her sister killed her, but something happened. The girl is just like disappeared.
Devil's advocate again. You have to be missing for 24 hours
Oh
before police can file a report. And I don't know how long it takes before you end up on a milk carton. It kind of depends on the milk production.
Really?
You gotta get a photograph.
I've never.
Well, first of all, they don't do. I don't think that they.
Milk
I don't think that they do that anymore. I don't think that you could go into the supermarket and request milk with missing kids on it. I remember it wasn't just milk either. It was like some other products, like I feel like it was candy or something too.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Add the fun to everything.
then Soul
for
Asylum
kids.
made a video with all these kids, so they're like, "Oh, we don't have to put on milk anymore."
Put it in
so.
foreign places that like grown up looking at, not kids.
Ooh, no. A lot of those missing kids ended up in porn, so you don't want to
Okay,
put, you
no.
know.
Maybe they're gonna see that. Oh yeah,
They might
I
have different
remember this
names.
guy from. Oh my god, no.
No.
That's terrible.
So I mean, basically, we're
I
jumping
want to
ahead.
go to Oregon.
I won't. I mean, I only have another page and a half of every plot detail, but at the locksmith thing, things go crazy because she goes after getting no for an answer. No, wasn't him, or I believe my creepy son that sleeps in a locksmith place. He didn't go to your house last night. She just goes into the van and
The
sees
fan is open.
yeah, she sees a roll of duct tape and a receipt for more duct tape, kerosene, and rope, and all this shit. Actually, I don't think rope is in there because he binds
No
it up
rope.
for duct tape.
Yeah.
But kerosene is something in there, so they immediately think, "Ooh, foreboding, something's gonna happen." And then the guy, creepy, sleepy kid comes out, yells at her for bit. But the van, she whips out her gun. It wasn't a Glock, it was a revolver, and tells her it's just a different kind of gun. That she wants to know whether the van was there, and he says, "Well, I did rent it out to a guy who said he had to move some tools. He just gave me a couple $100, and his name was Digger. And then I went to the club, and it was there when I got back." So Digger is the guy, and so she gets her information, but she's still waving the gun around. The guy's dad comes out, and then she goes on the run, and they call the police because she waved the gun. And now the police know that there's a crazy girl that thinks there's a kidnapper that they don't think exists, driving around, putting guns in people's faces, conducting her own missing persons investigation, even though everyone knows a person is not missing unless they're missing for 24 hours. But she thinks that her sister's going to die in the next 24 hours, so she goes out on a rampage.
I think that's the moment that I went back to the detective and I was like, I'm sure that he's involved in some way. But it was still like
Oh, yeah.
and the creepy detective.
I didn't think he had a wig on. He was a young man.
Oh yeah, I know. That's his hair. His hair is weird. And then she left her weapon. She left her gun.
No, that's not until much later.
No, in when she attacked the guy in his. Where are we now?
We're still at the locksmith.
Oh,
place.
you're still in the locksmith.
Yeah, I just said like that's where things.
Spoiler from the future.
So she starts going on the run. She's got a gun, and they put an APB out her, an all points bulletin. And there's cops sitting in a cop car, and they're listening to the bulletin. They don't notice that the car that they're talking about drives by her, because the man cop is too busy talking about how he banged his wife's sister before they're married. And he didn't say banged because it's a PG-13 movie. He says doing it. Haven't heard doing it in a movie in a while. So they're talking about doing it. And then Jill resumes her lie detecting by going to the hardware store where all the sketchy things were bought. She talks to the owner of it. He's a mom and pop shop. He says there's no security cameras, but he remembers the guy. And then apparently this guy is very chatty because he talks about the make and model of the car that he drives and the place that he lives in a braggadocious way. So she has hit a gold mine in terms of getting information for the guy she's trying to track down, but then the cops notice her car's there. They finish talking about doing it. They see her car in the parking lot. So they start to go in. She notices that, says she has a lady problem, goes to the bathroom where she shoots the gun at the lock for the window and runs away on foot. And this is the first chase of the movie. The cops are chasing her now. She's running around, and she knows where to go because she has the address. It's like a rundown hotel that people live in. So she goes there, busts into the place after finding out what apartment she lives in from a helpful skateboarder who's on the street, and she finds out that the guy has rapey eyes, according to the skateboarder's girlfriend. And she goes into his house anyway, which looks like something that John Doe would live in from the movie Seven. Duct tape everywhere.
Looks like a place that would jump on you something and like would be more like scary moments in it.
Yeah. No. The closest we get is she opens the door.
And the cat is back.
Yeah. I don't think it's the original cat.
I don't think it's the same one, but another cat.
Yeah, not a photograph of a cat this time.
So the cat is back, and then she leaves her weapon. And that's something like all those blondes that like cast movies, horror movies. Don't leave your weapon. Like, come on, it's like it's something that couldn't be passed and like scream and.
Well, she doesn't leave it there. She just puts it down while she's looking around.
She puts it down, and then at the moment that she puts it down, she walked around and like the janitor is jumping on her.
The goofy janitor, which is also kind of hard to believe that this rundown little hotel has an on-staff janitor that is also acting as a security guard when he sees like a 20-year-old girl go into this broken down apartment. And
yeah, but I like the fact that like you suspect everyone. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you never know who.
Yeah,
you don't know what this guy looks like.
Not like reveal or not like make you too confused, but it's like get it like.
So her investigation is in full swing. She's finding a clue. She finds a clue. It's a Lucky Star matchbook from the overnight diner that she works in. And so she bribes the janitor into borrowing his car. He makes a prostitution joke, something along the lines of, usually it would be me giving you money. Ha ha ha. And then she takes his car after having a flashback to being in the hole and finding bones and a hair clip in the dirt that she was in. She goes to the waitress's house that she works with that also got a big tip from this creepy guy. Asks about him. And then she gives him.
Did you say that guy was sitting there the day before? Like the day before?
I mentioned that she got a big tip in the beginning.
No, but from that guy. You missed something.
She got
this guy goes there like once in 2 weeks. The other one said. And he leaves a lot of tips. He never sat in her section, in Jill's section. And then she said that like he didn't talk because he didn't want her to recognize his voice. But it felt like for her, it's like 100% sure that it's him.
Yeah.
In that moment.
So that's her inclinations. She gets a phone number from the waitress, and then she goes to leave. And I don't know if I missed something. I think she was just speeding because they weren't the cops that were looking for her. They just started following her, but she didn't know that. She thought that the cops were onto her. She's already ditched her medication. She's freaking out. And so she just speeds, another high-speed chase. Although actually the first one wasn't really a high-speed chase. She was just trying to run a locksmith off the road.
So she drove on the other direction.
Yeah, now here's the thing. The janitor's car that she borrowed is a Bronco. And it's an orange Bronco, not a white Bronco, but it's a type of a truck. So I haven't seen a Bronco car chase like that since O.J. Simpson. But that's just a real life thing. And
what happened with what?
Oh, okay. Let me just recap the entire O.J. Simpson car chase murder scene from 1994.
What?
If you're not familiar with it, just send it in a private message to
we're gonna do a different show,
YaleMag7@gmail.com, where she learns about the O.J. Simpson trial.
Why did you give her email? No.
Yeah. Well,
unsubscribe.
So J.K. Simpson was on trial for murdering his ex-wife.
I know, but was he driving what's with the car?
It's a long story. There was a car chase when they were going to arrest him. His friend was driving a Bronco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's okay. It was a massive.
I will do a different show about that without him.
Okay.
Mr. Know-It-All.
We're gonna Mr. Know-It-All to the trial of the century.
I asked you already. Yeah, he didn't arrive to Israel that much. We had other things to do.
Okay. All right. She's from Israel. All right. So she runs through the neighborhood. She ditches the car, ditches the Bronco, doubles back to the neighborhood, back to the waitress's house. And you can tell this because this is maybe your favorite part of the movie.
Well, oh yeah, let me just say whatever she said. She tried to convince the waitress. The waitress was like kind of like she called the police. The waitress, because the police was on their way to her house. She said she called it. She was there and
no.
Yeah.
The waitress. Okay.
She called the police, and then that's why the police were on the way. When she left, the
She
police
said
came.
she was worried because she heard sirens. Okay. Anyway, she goes back to get the keys.
She tried to get her car because she didn't have her O.J. Simpson's car anymore, and she said she just described very nicely in very nice words how she's gonna live with the fact that her sister's dead, and she can still like.
Yeah, she really lays it on thick. She's like.
She made, and then her kid was there, so she was very upset. Like, so she just told her, "My kids are in the purse on the desk, and don't you ever come back here."
Which I think means you now have a free car.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, she's not like gonna return it. Also, I thought about like the other guy with the Bronco. Is he gonna get it back at some point?
Well, she tells him, if I don't bring it back in 24 hours, I'm dead.
Maybe did like a funeral or something without her, just like a ceremony, memorial with that prostitute.
Not to skip too far ahead to the end, which we're not that far from now, but maybe we write a sequel fan fiction where it's just the janitor trying to find out what happens to the girl.
Ooh, I like that.
And why?
And where's the car?
Why the cops are looking for his Bronco.
Yeah, so I thought it's a very weird reaction. I was like, the kids are there, and don't ever come back here.
Yeah.
It was very dramatic, like too dramatic.
Yeah, how dare you have us blame me for your sister's potential murder.
Take the car, just drive safe with your belt on.
Yeah. So she takes the number that the waitress gives her, calls the guy who says that he is not the man that kidnapped her sister, and he goes, "Oh, are you the Jill that works at the station? I gave you a pretty good tip. You know, I'm a pretty good guy, so if you want to meet, maybe we could talk about it."
No, it wasn't like that. It was creepy.
Okay, he said it in a creepy way, but I
want you to see that I'm a good guy. I say let's meet.
Yes.
My place or yours. It was super creepy.
No. Well, first of all, he doesn't have a place because he's homeless.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't have a house.
He did offer to come to her. She said she would come to him because
she's brave and she wants to some MMA class.
She wants to find her sister, you know.
She wanted to fight, practice her like.
So she gets directions to an abandoned ranger station.
That was the moment that I wrote that I thought that her sister had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was involved for a moment in the beginning. He helped her like to try to call the school or something to make sure that she's not in class. And that's it. And I wrote like her sister boyfriend is not part of anything. 2 minutes later, bam, tell them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were a little bit critical about him not doing enough. What's he gonna do? Start an investigation?
If I'm gonna.
But she had a history of being a drunk. Girls ghost guys.
You're your boyfriend. You should take care of you.
You get ghosted sometimes.
That's why we have boyfriends, in case if we're gonna go missing. Then we need you.
girls ghost guys all the time, and not just when they are murdered and become ghosts. So she says she might have been gone out drinking all night, and
No, but
then
then
we
he
see
calls.
he calls her and says she came home, but it's the lady cop trying to get him to sting.
She
But
looks
she
like a
doesn't
pickle.
buy it. She doesn't buy it. She doesn't take that. So then the detective calls her and chastises her. Then she calls Jim on the other line. He gives more creepy directions. And he
Yeah,
starts.
and it sounded like I felt like there's something that they gave. Also, I read like someone else saying that on IMDb that they gave like a lot of information that's not necessarily needed. Like it kept like it wasn't too boring or something, but it was kind of like, okay, is it gonna lead to anything? But no, most of
Well, it's a
it.
long ride. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
talk about other
yeah. So
stuff.
he was talking with her, but the thing is that he didn't admit. He didn't say that her sister is there. He didn't say that he's the guy. He didn't say anything. So they talked about different subjects and very low and whispering, and it sounds like they're about to have a sex call. Like,
Well, he gives a creepy vibe. He
yeah,
talks a story. He tells a story. I mean, in his defense, and again, I'm devil's advocate. I'm not defending a kidnapper or an alleged kidnapper, but he left no evidence. The first time they met, there was no DNA or anything, and
yeah,
so he's a
he
careful
did a
guy.
good job.
So he's not going to talk about stuff on the phone. So he says it the whole time. If you were to look at a transcript of the phone call, you couldn't. It wouldn't say in parentheses creepy intonation in voice. So he talks about how there was a story about a father
And he
and a
asked her how she
daughter.
left, like the whole.
Eventually,
Yeah.
but he tells a story about a father and a daughter that were living in a cave in the park for years, and no one found them. And then he says, "I remembered you from the news. That story. How did you get out of the hole? I'm sure that the person that let you escape must have felt like he'd been made a fool of." And then he gives her more creepy directions. She comes to a literal fork in the road, which is both in the movie, that's where the direction is, and it's kind of a plot point in the movie. There's a fork in the road. Does she keep going along with this? Does she believe the guy? Does she think her sister's going to be there? Is she going to continue down this path of revenge, kill the guy,
And she
whatever?
came out from the car with a light, like a flashlight, a big one. I was like, where did she find that?
Cars have flashlights.
Is your car has a flashlight?
I have a flashlight in my
Really?
car. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Where?
It's right in the back. In the trunk.
You sure?
Yeah, if I had to change a tire or something, you need a
I
flashlight.
don't know. She didn't. She didn't open the trunk.
Okay, well sometimes they're not in the trunk.
Maybe she had it in the back. I don't know.
Yeah. So she
In the
goes to a
same.
fork in the road, which is to go into a footpath to look for a lantern to find his campsite.
Yeah. Also, like at the same time, when was it with her sister?
That's the next scene. Like the
Okay.
next thing you see is her sister. You finally see her for the first time since the morning. She's bound in duct tape in her night clothes in a small space, trying to struggle with the duct tape around her.
But she's making it, and then she's going back home, and apparently she was right under the
Well, she
house.
eventually it cuts back a few more times. You see her, and then you see her find
Oh right,
the
yeah, that's a close
pictures
moment. Yeah.
in the
Yeah. So
tents.
Jill finds a tent, and she goes, of course, inside of the tent, inside of the woods, with the flashlight, and there are like Polaroid pictures. I thought it might be a hipster or something.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
digital.
Yeah, like do your job. Like just go and like.
Like old school
Yeah,
Polaroid,
like
not
you
those
should.
new ones you could get at Urban Outfitters. They're a little bit smaller.
Yeah, these are like Urban Outfitters ones. That's what I was like. You must be a hipster. That's what I wrote. He's not a hipster.
Yeah, they're duct taped to the wall of the tent. Little decoration.
Yeah. And then like I felt like that was the blonde moment that like horror movie trying to get that Matt didn't like think like me, but I still think that it's kind of weird that she left the tent because she heard a voice. Now the thing is that he knows that she's there. He should meet her there, and she's with a flashlight inside of his tent, taking pictures out of the tent wall. And then she hears a voice or something, so she gets out of the tent and turn off the light. And I'm like, still think like, seriously?
It's harder to
That's
be
what's gonna
seen if
save
your
you.
flashlight is
Why
off.
did you take the flashlight since the beginning? If you want to be
She's in
like,
the dark. She gotta see.
That's
You
what
can always
I'm
throw.
saying.
Flashlights are also heavy. You can
Yeah,
throw it at a guy.
but in the woods you can still see it nice. Like the
Not always.
most of the
It
time.
depends on the moon.
Most of the time, it looks like you can see her. We
Okay.
could see her. I don't know.
Okay.
Never mind. We didn't agree on that before. We probably would never agree.
I don't know what the moon patterns were like that night. So they we're getting real close to this very anticlimactic climax with the struggle. So she finds a hole, goes towards like the voice. She puts her head down in the hole, sees a body with pajamas at the bottom with like a gray mask over its face. Thinking maybe it's her sister because, as you said earlier, her sister broke out. She's underneath the house. She was never taken to the woods. She was still bound and gagged, but she was under the house the whole time. So the cops are there, and Jill doesn't know this.
With no service.
She looks into the hole, and then a hand shoots out, grabs her, throws her down into the hole, and we reveal it's some guy. I guess the guy from the first part wasn't the creepy detective who earlier, about like half an hour earlier, mysteriously left this manhunt to go bring his mother soup.
Yeah, that was kind of like.
So you thought, oh, maybe it's him. Maybe he's working with this guy.
Yeah,
No,
he's
just a
working
guy,
with him,
just a
but
dude.
yeah.
Just a dude that drinks coffee late at night, occasionally kidnaps girls, and takes their pictures. So she's down in the hole, and he comes down with a knife. She goes back on some of her self-defense, kind of, and then tries to grab the gun. Successfully shoots him several times. Climbs out of the hole. Says, "Where's my sister?" He says she was under the house. She's fine.
She doesn't believe him.
Not at first. So she doesn't shoot him. Instead, goes and gets the kerosene.
I really don't like the thing that she did.
She dumps kerosene on him and then threw the creepy lantern.
Inside of the woods, it's a national park resort.
In a hole. It might have been a state park. I don't think it was a national park.
I think they have like a ranger station over there.
State parks have rangers.
Yeah.
Park rangers.
Yeah, the rangers weren't there to stop the light.
It was an abandoned ranger station. And look, hey, I'm not arguing. Fires do start on the ground. I mean, I know it rains a lot in Oregon and Washington, but
very dangerous. Very dangerous.
So he burns the guy alive and the dead girl underneath her and underneath him. And then there's.
It wasn't that girl. It was a doll. You didn't see
that? No, it was a dead girl. You see the
decayed. Put money on that?
No.
How much you owe me if it was right?
No, it's a dead.
It was a doll.
Okay.
The legs were like a crown.
It looked like a decayed girl.
That's what it did. They wanted her to think that it's her sister, that she would go down.
I feel like this guy kills multiple girls.
This is not her dead girl.
Okay.
That's what she had.
Like, there was a person.
That was like kind of the face.
It was just one of those life-size dolls you get of a gray face.
It was like something that you just like stuffed inside. We're gonna watch that moment. I'm gonna show
Okay, great. So if you really want to go to Showtime,
what minute was it? Was you right?
Go to about 90 minutes in. It's about an hour and 34-minute movie.
Almost like this thing. Like you could watch the movie at that time.
Yeah. And then goes home. Basically, hugs her sister. Doesn't say that she just murdered a man with fire in the woods. And the cops ask her about it, and she says, "You know what? I think I made the whole thing up, or whatever, because they didn't believe her in the first place." And then like the last 94 minutes of our life, and however long it took for you to watch this, and the movie title, it was gone. That was it.
So I'm just still wondering if they let her sister do the exam again.
Yeah, she was studying real hard.
Yeah, she was like really excited for that. She told her boyfriend like, no, we're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
No, for her.
Just couldn't leave the house through no fault of her own. So that was the movie. This is our preview. Well, hopefully, we'll work out a couple of the kinks, but let us know. We're putting this out before October. Let us know what you thought of it, what movies we should watch this month. We're going to try to publish one a day. Probably not going to watch a movie a day. We'll probably try to bank a couple on mutual
Every
days
day
off.
I'm gonna have a new movie.
Yeah, we're just taking behind the screen. So
yeah.
we'll do it more in depth,
what's
less
the next
in depth.
movie? Wait, so
Well, it's your.
did
So
you
we're gonna
watch,
alternate picks. So I pick a movie, then you pick a movie.
Yeah, but I want them to know that, like.
Yeah, we're gonna pick a movie.
What Stephen King's movie you didn't watch?
There's a bunch, probably.
Like.
I'm not gonna name all the ones that I didn't watch.
The Cat's Eyes. Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like. Is that just one movie or is it a short movie?
No, I think it's one.
Okay, then we'll watch Cat's Eye. I don't think I've watched it before. So.
Does he have another movie that you didn't watch?
There's probably a bunch, but I don't know.
Yeah, but some know.
I think that hotel room movie I never saw. Samuel Jackson's in it. I forget the name of it. I think.
I watched it in this movie. I love it.
Room 237. It was based on
14.
something from the Omni Parker House Hotel in Boston, which is the oldest
really?
hotel in America. Although the people from the Omni Parker House Hotel will tell you that they have no hauntings, and there was nothing haunted about that room, although it is now a janitor's closet. So I think that may tell you something.
Cool.
So, okay, Cat's Eye it is. So if you have seen Cat's Eye, we'll look forward to watching the next episode. And
if you didn't watch it before, we're gonna watch it too. So
yeah, if you haven't watched it, now you have time.
Yeah,
so thank you for watching this.
You have a break now from us.
The pilot episode of Matt and Yael Horror Recap, October 2018. So we're on Facebook, Instagram.
Halloween.
I'm on Twitter at Matt Kona. You're at YAELGAVISH. That's how you spell it. It says it right there in the title. Post this around.
Instagram and Facebook.
Give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All month.
All month. All year.